Yes, that's what I always say. Librarians, we may not know the answer, but we'll try to find it.
Right. We have some tools that can help us find that information.
Absolutely. All right. Well, it looks like it's 3:01. So I'm going to give myself a wave that tells me on the video that this is where we're going to start. And we'll start in 3, 2, 1. Welcome, everybody. It's Miss Jody from Nevada Public Library. We're so happy to see you today. And with us is Pam Price from Dickerson Park Zoo. Hi, Miss Pam.
Hello.
Welcome.
How is everyone today?
We're good. We're good here at the library. We're reading and trying to get all of our 500 minutes in. And we have lots of kiddos dropping off their reading logs because they've already hit that milestone and they're still reading more, which is great. And we've added some fun books to the library. Can I show you what we've added, Miss Pam?
I would love to see what you've added to your collection at the library.
We've added so many great books about animals this summer, but 2 of my favorite books that we've added, this one's the first one. It's called The Surprising Lives of Animals, How They Can Laugh, Play, and Misbehave. Who knew that animals had all kinds of ways that they play together and ways that they show that they're happy or sad? This is just a really fun book to talk about how animals learn and remember things. And we want you to come by the library and check out this one. We'll show you where to find it, or we'll put you on hold if it's checked out. And then this is another really fun one about animals called Humanimal, which is kind of a fun way to say a human and an animal together. But it says, incredible ways animals are just like us. So let's see what we have in here. This is by Christopher Lloyd. And this was really fun. So it talks about how animals build community and how they even, this is farming. Who would think that ants know how to do farming? And how they have fun. So here's another great book about how animals are kind of like humans, or maybe humans are kind of like animals. So if you want to check out this one, stop by the library. We'll show you where to find it. Well, we're going to turn it over to Miss Pam. We're excited to get started. It's about 3:03, and we're so happy to have our friends from Dickerson Park Zoo here. And so I'm going to go off camera and turn off my microphone, and we're going to go with everything that you have to show us today, Miss Pam. Here we go.
All right. Well, we are here today and we're going to talk about some special animals that we have. And some of them are classified as endangered. And I know so many people think that endangered is in danger. But this means that there's not many of them. It's ENDANGERED. So there are not many of them left. Or what is even more amazing is once they were endangered, and because people didn't want that animal to be extinct, they made a difference. And so we're going to talk about some endangered animals. And we have 3 representatives to show you today. And first, we're going to start with, oh, my little friend, is this Charlie? Oh, this is Charlie. This is Charlie the chinchilla. And Charlie, the chinchilla, would live in the Andes Mountains in South America. And this furry, cute little creature is known for its soft, dense, very thick fur. And so, because of their beautiful, soft, thick, very dense fur, the people who live in South America would use them to actually make coats out of. Well, it became very stylish and very popular if you owned something made out of chinchilla fur. And can you imagine this cute little animal? It would take over 100 of them to make a fur coat. And so they were hunted. And they were hunted so much that the numbers dropped down so low, they became endangered in the wild. But someone right here from Springfield, Missouri, helped make a difference and made it not so cool, not so popular for people to wear fur coats made out of animal skins. So his name was Bob Barker. And he was from Springfield, Missouri. And I bet maybe this summer you have watched The Price is Right, but they have a new host. His name is Drew Carey. But Bob Barker was he loved animals. And so on the very first Price is Right show, here comes one of those beautiful models out in a fur coat. And they had to guess the price of the fur coat. And after the show, Bob Barker said that would be his last show if they ever had fur coats. And so it started a whole new movement. People in Hollywood no longer wanted a fur coat. So he made a difference. Well, now these little creatures are sold in a lot of pet stores, but in pet stores, it is illegal for them to take them out of the wild. So they no longer do that. And because no one is hunting them, their numbers have increased, but they are still endangered. But I told you how thick, how dense his fur coat is. Well, it's very special because we can look at our head or maybe our arm and we see little hairs growing out. And the little spot where that hair grows out is called a follicle. And we have one, maybe two hairs growing out of those hair follicles. But a chinchilla has anywhere from 60 to 100. Their fur is the thickest of any land mammal on Earth. So they have that very thick coat. But now you and I, to clean our hair, we would use shampoo and water. And it would be very dangerous for us to shampoo our chinchilla friend with shampoo and water. Their fur doesn't dry. It is so dense, it won't dry. And because it would stay wet, then it would begin to mildew and mold, and it could make them very, very sick. So it is important that we know how to take care of pets. Since chinchillas can be used as pets, we wouldn't want to hurt our pet. So there is a special dust that you can buy. And that's how they clean their fur, is they roll in that dust and play, and dust just flies everywhere, but that keeps their fur healthy, just like our hair stays healthy if we use shampoo. So this is our chinchilla friend, Charlie, and they typically come in these colors: dark, black, gray, brown, but some pet stores have some really unusual colors of chinchillas. But make sure if you get one for a pet, they love to sleep during the day. I bet that Miss Kim or Miss Rhonda may have had to wake Charlie up just to come out and see you today. So we're going to let Charlie go back in his little travel crate and say goodbye to Charlie. Oh, there we go. And I have a fur here of another animal that is endangered in the wild, and it is a cheetah, the fastest land mammal in the world. So it has a very long spine, which allows it to move and turn quickly, and a very long tail, which helps it keep its balance when it's running at speeds of 70 miles an hour, or maybe even faster for short distances. And they have this spotted fur. And did you know that every time you visit Dickerson Park Zoo, some of the money that you spend to get into the zoo actually goes to help cheetahs in the wild, because their numbers are very low in Africa. So we actually help pay for training of dogs, or to purchase dogs like Angolan shepherds. And what that does is they will give those dogs to farmers in Africa. So if a cheetah gets on to the farm where maybe the goats live and it's hunting, well, the dog would chase the cheetah away. And that way the cheetah wouldn't have to be harmed. And the farmer gets to keep his goats. So you can come to Dickerson Park Zoo, and the 3 babies that were born here at the zoo, just about a year ago, they're actually on exhibit. You could see Faith or Crocker or Art if you came to the zoo. And don't ask me to tell them apart. There's only a couple of their keepers that are with them every day that know how to tell Faith and Art and Crocker apart. But this is another way that you can help endangered species, is by coming to the zoo. And this is just one way that we help endangered animals here at the zoo. All right. I'm getting my next animal ambassador out to see you today. And this is one of my favorites. Do you know what animal this is? This is a peregrine falcon. Yes. Well, we just had the cheetah, which is the fastest land mammal. This bird is the fastest animal on Earth. It's faster than a cheetah. It's faster than a swimming fish. Why, this bird, when it dives out of the sky in a stoop, can reach speeds of over 200 miles an hour. Oh my goodness. So, what happened to this bird? This bird is actually found all over the world on almost every continent. There's only one continent that it's not found on, and I bet you can guess which one it is. Yes, it's Antarctica. It's way too cold. The penguins love it there, but not a peregrine falcon. Well, since these birds are so fast, my goodness, what caused them to become endangered? Well, you know, around summertime, we get lots of pesky insects. I know this past weekend over the 4th of July, we had a fly swatter and we were swatting flies on the table, picnic table outside, and trying to shoo them away. And then there were mosquitoes. Oh, and once they bite, you get that bump and it itches. Oh, goodness. Well, both of those insects can carry diseases that would make us sick. So it was thought that if we sprayed this pesticide called DDT, 2 D's and a T, the word is a mile long and I never can remember it, but it has 2 D's and a T. Well, they sprayed everything. Oh, it worked for farmers. It kept insects like grasshoppers or locusts from eating their crops. They sprayed city streets so that people would not get sick from flies or mosquitoes or any insect or arachnid that might carry a disease. Well, these birds are pretty large and it didn't hurt them. Some of our songbirds, it hurt them. But this is a raptor. It's got that excellent eyesight, that sharp hooked beak, and those talons, deadly talons. So, well, if we're spraying for insects, how in the world did that affect this bird? Because it doesn't eat insects. Well, its favorite food is other birds. And so when those insect-eating birds or those seed-eating birds would eat the seeds with the DDT, or eat the insects that had been killed by the DDT, well, it got into the system of the peregrine falcon. And when the female would lay her eggs, they would be soft. And they have to keep them warm in order for a baby peregrine to hatch out of that egg. So when they would sit on them to keep them warm, it would crush. And so there were no baby peregrine falcons. But you might want to read a book someday called Silent Spring. And parents, it would be great for you to read that book now. It's by Rachel Carson, and she figured out what was happening. And so she wrote this book. Wouldn't it be terrible if one spring morning we woke up and there were no birds singing. So she explained what the pesticide was doing, and people thought it was safe. They didn't want to harm the birds. But in 1972, you could no longer spray DDT legally in the United States. And so there were some people that started working to bring the number of peregrine falcons back. And this spring, they had one of those video cams on a nest near St. Louis, and they got to watch the peregrine falcons, little babies, little fuzzy babies. Those first feathers that they have, they don't look like adult feathers. And they're so different from the way the adults look. But they were watching as they hatched, and as mom and dad would bring them back food and watch them eat and grow up and learn to fly. So people made a difference in saving the peregrine falcon. So now here in Missouri, the peregrine falcon is still listed as an endangered species. But we have several nests now where we used to have 0 nesting peregrine falcons. So they are actually looking at delisting, the Missouri Department of Conservation, looking to delist the peregrine falcon based on the number of nests that we now have in Missouri. So these amazing birds, the fastest creatures on earth, people made a difference because they wanted to see this bird and watch others hatch and grow up and watch them. They are an amazing bird to watch. And I bet Miss Jody has some books that might even tell about peregrine falcons. So we're going to let our friend Sky, that's her name. And do you know how she got that name? Well, I'm going to see if she will kind of put her wings out. Can you put your wings out? There we go. Oh, do you see the way those lines are on the wings and the chest? Well, when another bird looks up in the sky, it looks like a cloud or just sky. And that camouflages them. So that's why we named our peregrine falcon that we have here at the zoo, because she had an injured wing and came through our raptor rehab. And so we have a special permit to keep her. And her name is Sky. All right. Well, Sky's going to go back in her little crate. Oh, she was an amazing bird today. And my last one is a very special animal. But before I talk about it, I have some other things here. These are pieces of ivory. Now, ivory comes from elephants. And in Asian elephants, those males have those very long tusks. And African elephants, both the males and the females, girls and boys, have tusks. And so ivory is very special. They used to actually make the white keys on a piano out of ivory? Well, today in Africa, they estimate that there are 96 elephants taken each day just for their ivory. So we trim our male's tusks, and that's how we got this ivory, to keep them not being sharp, because they don't need to fight here at the zoo and protect themselves. So we would trim the tusks. So we have some of this ivory, but it is illegal unless you got that thing made out of ivory a long, long time ago, before the 70s. And we work very hard to make sure people know that it's not legal to have ivory. And there are other things that look just like ivory that doesn't harm any animal if we want pretty jewelry or decorations, statues. And my last friend is Mel, our gopher tortoise. Well, gopher tortoises are found right here in the United States. Now, this species of tortoise is actually called a keystone species. And so that's a big fancy word, but what it means is a gopher tortoise. Oh, how did it get the name gopher? Have you ever heard of a gopher? What do gophers do? Well, they dig lots and lots and lots of holes. And that's what the gopher tortoise does. It likes to live in Florida and in some of the southern states, and we got a fuzzy nose. So they would dig holes in the sand. Oh, look, I think he's waving at you. There we go. Are you waving, Mel? Oh, there we go. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty cool. You would think I taught him that. I did not. He's doing that all on his own. So in those states, there have lots of sandy soil. And so they dig big holes. That's their home, are these big tunnels that go down in under the sand. Well, once the gopher tortoise gets finished with them, other animals that like to live in tunnels use them. But they like to live in tunnels, but they can't dig their own tunnels. So if the gopher tortoise went extinct, these other animals would be affected. They would no longer have that home that the gopher tortoise makes for them. So that's why it's called a keystone species. Well, what is causing this animal to become endangered? Well, there could be several things. One, habitat destruction. So it would, I'm getting such a kick out of him waving. It's just like he does this on cue. So habitat destruction, they love to live near the ocean in the sandy soil. And guess what? People want to live near the ocean and look out and see the ocean. And so they build their house on the sandy soil. So it takes away the home of our gopher tortoise. Well, another thing we know from the story of the tortoise and the hare, that the hare is fast, but slow and steady won the race. Well, they are slow. And because they're slow, a lot of people think, oh, look, I can get this tortoise and I can take it home and I can have a pet gopher tortoise. Oh, that's not legal. And when we take them out of their habitat, then they may not like our weather. They may not like our habitat here in Missouri. So we would have to take very special care of them, just like our keeper does here at the zoo. And we would have to feed it the right things, and we would have to give it the right amount of light and the right amount of heat. And oh, there's so many things that go into taking really good care of tortoises that we just don't think of, because we think, oh, they're slow, and if we feed them and give them water, they'll be fine. But not so easy. And their shell, you may think, oh, that's a very hard shell. Well, it is, because that shell is made of bone. Some tortoises have over 50 bones all stuck together, fused together to make their shell. And then that shell is covered with these special scales called scutes. And I don't know if Miss Jody has this book, but it used to be one of my favorites. We're going to count the scutes. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And long ago, the Native Americans said that turtles and tortoises carried the 13 moons of a year on their back. There's 13 full moons in a year. So 13 moons on a turtle or tortoise's back if they have a healthy shell. So our gopher tortoise name is Mel. Mel is a boy, and we know Mel is a boy because this underneath shell is concave. It's curved in, and he doesn't like to be held like that. Oh my goodness. Why doesn't a tortoise like to be put on its back, or a turtle on its back? Well, they're a reptile. And we as humans have a muscle right down here. And if you've ever been punched or hit something and it hits that muscle, oh my goodness, it makes it very hard to breathe because of that muscle contracting because it's been hit. Well, they don't have that muscle. So if they get flipped over on their back, well, their lungs are right here. And all their other body parts squishes them and they cannot breathe. So that's another thing we can do to help our turtles and tortoises safely turn them over so they're right side up and not flipped upside down. So I hope you've enjoyed meeting Mel, our gopher tortoise, and Sky, our peregrine falcon, and Charlie, our chinchilla, today here at Dickerson Park Zoo. And hopefully you all will make a difference. Take care of animals, protect them, and read all you can. So now, are you going to wave bye, Mel, or are you just wave hello? What are you ready to wave bye? Oh, there we go. There we go. Oh, okay. So Mel says goodbye.
Oh, thank you so much, Miss Pam and Kim and Rhonda and all of our animal ambassador friends at Dickerson Park Zoo. I learned something today. I learned lots of things that I didn't know about our animal friends. And we even have some new book recommendations. So thank you so much. It was such a pleasure. And the animals were just so, I have a soft spot for Mel. He's my favorite.
Mel's pretty cool. I love Mel too.
He sure is sweet. They all did such a great job. And thank you so much for sharing so much information about how we can help our animal friends and, you know, just be better people and be better animals or friends to our animals that are around us.
Okay, Miss Jody, you enjoy the rest of your summer.
Thank you. You too, Miss Pam. It's been a pleasure.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Mel.